How many of you have ever given everything you had to someone you love, to your family, to your work, only to realize that somewhere along the way, you stopped taking care of yourself? Maybe it started really simple, like skipping rest or putting your own health on hold. Or maybe you would tell yourself, oh, I'll be fine. I'll take care of myself later. Right now, my priority needs to be making sure that I take care of this first. I need to focus my time and attention on them right now. For many of us, this isn't a moment, it's a pattern, a role we tend to step into out of love, responsibility, and commitment. And before we realize it, caring for others becomes so central to who we are that often our own needs go unmet. This question matters because it sits at the heart of so many of our life challenges, such as caregiving and burnout. What I've learned is that these struggles aren't personal failures. They are deeply connected to where we are in development, where I am personally in development. These experiences rely on awareness, shared responsibility, and setting realistic goals. At some point in our lives, many of us may find ourselves caring for others while possibly neglecting ourselves and our well being while we care for others and putting their needs before ours. My name is Erica Sardin, and today in this video, I am going to share insights that I have gained from both observing spousal caregiving in late adulthood, as well as reflecting on my own self development during middle adulthood. When we think about the effects of neglecting oneself, it can cause mental burnout, causing us to have chronic exhaustion and loss of motivation, as well as affect our physical health, causing a weakened immune system as well as internal stress. It also leads to strained ties in social situations, as well as identity loss and those feelings of emptiness and confusion. So, why is it essential for self prioritization? Well, it's essential for sustainable energy. Regular self care prevents burnout and ensures that you have the physical and mental stamina for life's demands. It promotes quality connections. You can't pour into an empty cup. Caring for yourself allows you to show up authentically for others, as well as promote mental clarity. Prioritizing your needs fosters emotional resilience and helps to maintain a strong sense of personal identity. It reduces internal stress. Through self neglect, avoidance strengthens the immune system and sleep quality. Let's take a brief look at theoretical perspectives on self neglect. Failure to meet basic self care needs prevents movement toward personal growth. It can also lead to a spiral of stress, as well as diminish our motivation and overall well being. Self neglect often mirrors internal working models of being unworthy of care, which can impact adult relationships. So, why does this story matter? Why is it important? Well, lifespan development is not just a theory, it is a lived experience that shapes our journey. The most profound personal growth occurs through overcoming life's difficult challenges. Let's get ready to dive in and take a look at late adulthood and caregiving. To protect confidentiality, I'll refer to the individual in this story as simply Erica. Erica is 72 years old and was placed unexpectedly into the role of becoming a full-time caregiver for her husband, Ernest, who was diagnosed with dementia and later entered into hospice care. What began as mild memory loss quickly evolved into a life altering caregiving responsibility role. After Ernest's condition declined during a trip meant to provide exposure to familiar places and connections to family and friends, Erica found herself unable to return home. Ernest began experiencing mild strokes, a loss of the ability to walk and speak, and then required constant care. Erica assumed responsibility for every aspect of his daily functioning, including his physical transfers, medication management, emotional reassurance, and coordination with hospice care. As days began to pass, Erica began to show signs of caregiver burden. She was physically exhausted. Emotionally, she was overwhelmed. She rarely slept uninterrupted. She experienced anticipatory grief. She began mourning the loss of her husband even before his passing, while also trying to remain strong and be present for him. When we think about Erica and the new role that she was placed in, Erickson's theory of psychosocial development is especially relevant here. In late adulthood, individuals reflect on their life and relationships through the stage of integrity versus despair. Caregiving can also represent generativity, providing care, meaning, and purpose for others. For Erica, caregiving brought deep meaning, but also emotional stagnation where self-care was absent. When we are grieving, sometimes grief doesn't begin when someone dies. Sometimes it begins while you're still helping them breathe, turning them in bed, hoping, wishing, and praying that they'll open their eyes. At the time, what Erica was experiencing looked like caregiver burnout, but it became clear that something deeper was happening. Erica was grieving even before the loss of Ernest occurred. She was living with anticipatory grief. Anticipatory grief is complex. There is not a predictable order. It often includes denial, frustration, guilt, sadness, and then gradual acceptance. It exists alongside love, hope, and deep meaning. And when left unsupported, it can quickly drain caregivers emotionally and physically. Anticipatory grief is not a sign that we're giving up. It's a sign of loving deeply while you're left facing the inevitable. Erica's caregiving was a powerful expression of generativity, but without support, even generativity can become unsustainable. As I witnessed Erica neglect her own personal needs and well being, I knew that I had to do something to try to reduce the burden that she was now facing. Intentional interventions were introduced. Family members were scheduled to assist with caregiving tasks, which allowed Erica brief periods of rest. Although she struggled with guilt while stepping away, these breaks were essential for her well being. This experience demonstrated that caregiving cannot be sustained without shared responsibility. One of the most important insights that I gained is that caregiving, even when rooted in love and meaning, become harmful when caregivers neglect their own needs. Supporting generativity must include supporting the caregiver's well-being as well. As we journey through the difficult stages in life, we must remember that we are not meant to endure caregiving or grief on our own. Growth across the lifespan requires compassion for others as well as grace for ourselves. When care is shared and grief is honored, resilience becomes possible, even in life's most difficult moments. Now let's move into my self development in middle adulthood. What if I ask you the question right now? What is one habit you know would improve your quality of life? What would you say? Hmm. And if I followed up by asking, why isn't it happening yet? What would your honest answer be? Would you answer honestly, or would you make an excuse instead? Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, why is something so important still so hard to prioritize in my daily life? What happens when the longest stage of human development meets the busiest chapter of adulthood? Well, for me, the realization didn't happen all at once. I didn't wake up one day feeling different. The strands of gray hair, the fatigue, the slower recovery, it all happened gradually. And somewhere along the way, I came to the realization that I was caring for everyone else more consistently than I was actually caring for myself. What started as a personal struggle with exercise became a deeper lesson about development, motivation, and self compassion. One I believe many of us might share in some way or another. Observing Erica's experience throughout the semester led me to reflect on my own stage of development. As a 50-year-old wife, mother, and grandmother, I am in middle adulthood, a stage defined by balancing responsibilities while maintaining personal growth and health. According to Erickson, middle adulthood centers on generativity versus stagnation. Failing to prioritize my health behaviors, specifically exercise, placed me at risk for stagnation. Piaget's formal operational stage supports my ability to reflect, to plan, and to also recognize long-term consequences, even when behavior change proves very difficult and challenging for me. Boy, oh boy, was I on the struggle bus. Despite my understanding of the importance of physical activity, I still struggled significantly with consistency. Time constraints, fatigue, and long-standing habits often took priority. Even realistic goals proved challenging for me. It taught me that awareness alone does not guarantee change. This experience has taught me that behavior change is a gradual process. Even though I didn't meet my original goal, I gained self-awareness, motivation, as well as insight. Growth is not measured by success alone. It's also measured by persistence and learning. Erica taught me that love can be exhausting if it isn't supported. My own experience taught me that intention means nothing without action, but also that change doesn't happen all at once. Across the lifespan, challenges will arise, whether we are caring for a spouse, raising children, working, or trying to stay healthy. We face the same challenge, learning how to give without disappearing. Generativity isn't just about what we give to others. It's about sustaining ourselves so we are able to keep giving. It's true, I did not meet every goal I set for myself this semester, and Erica didn't find a perfect solution to caregiving. But we both gained awareness, and awareness is the first step toward change. Whether you are caring for a loved one, trying to change a long standing habit, or simply feeling stretched thin by the demands of everyday life, my hope is that you walk away from this understanding one thing, that you are not weak for struggling. You are human, and human development is a lifelong process. When we view our challenges through a developmental lens, we stop asking, what's wrong with me? And start asking, what does this stage of my life need to thrive? Growth doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small, intentional steps. asking for help, resting without guilt, adjusting expectations, and continuing to try.